Shut up and sit down.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Third Shift, episode 289, and I, of course, am your host, your funky leader, the greatest man who's ever lived. It's me, it's Matt, and I'm forcing myself to be pumped for the show, because it was a terrible day. We just got done talking about how awful it was for like half an hour, and going, man, this really sucks. How are we going to do a show now? Oh, man. And who did I have that conversation with? It was my buddy, Eric, the light bearer, the light bringer, the Beastmaster of Third Shift. He's here with me, and he's going to tell us not how today went, not how even the week went in the sector of work and fun and good things, but he's going to tell us fun stuff about the fun he had during this fun week. Right, Eric? Right?
That's right. Hey, you're right. You know what? It was a fun week, I think. Whatever it was, it did something, and it had a week, and it was great because... one thing, played some Lost Ark. Got a few more levels than that, got a little bit farther than that. Ooh, fantastic. Still liking that. Twitch keeps going, hey, here's some cool Lost Ark stuff for free because it's got a whole affiliation thing going on right now. So busting that open, getting some cool stuff. I went, mind you, before I forget, I went out to Pinball Pete's this last weekend with the wife and some family friend, etc. Mm-hmm. Pinball Pete's. We played some arcade games. We were up in there doing some House of the Dead 4. We were doing some freaking Time Crisis 6. We did some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Simpsons. Did a bunch of little those fun, goofy games to get your tickets, things like that. Good times. And then to top that off, we went to this Korean barbecue, like authentic, real deal. Sat at the table that had the hot plate in the middle of it. And then we got like ribeye, we got beef tongue, we got it all, man. We had it all brought out. We had all this crazy stuff brought out. We're just cooking all this meat on the table, and we're just nom 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 nom, just eating it up. We had the wild rice going, da 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 da. Ordered this crazy thing with all these little rice cakes in it. That was in this super hot soup and stuff. Mm-hmm. And was eating that up. It was fantastic. That was great. What a great time that was. The only downside was when we got out. It was freezing cold, and being in there, it was like super warm and nice and hot because of the hot plate and everything else going on, and so it was like that boom. Oh God, get to the car! But of course, being in downtown East Lansing, all the parking place was block and a half that way, so we're just trying to get there. And of course, my wife accidentally wore a U of M coat there, so she made me wear it. And then she put on my coat, and then, so I'm running around with U of M crap.
Like anybody cares. Nobody cares.
Oh, they did. I got flipped off twice.
Well, that doesn't mean anything,
they do,
though.
Yeah, that don't mean much. It wasn't a big deal, but it happened. So, just, they care, but not enough to obviously attack or do something stupid. But just enough to go, okay, I don't care. Gotta get to the car. Gotta get out of here. It's cold. Oh, God. I don't actually care about any of this. I was just eating good food, going home. Doesn't matter. Please leave me alone. So that was a cool event. Had a great time with it. And then, of course, reason I said that was because Jason's guy I play Lost Ark with. So he's who we went out with, him and his wife. And then, Matt, the first thing, I don't know. Do you want to talk about Strangers first, or do you want to talk about Elden Ring first?
I feel like Stranger could be its own topic.
It really could be. All right. So I played Stranger of Paradise, and we'll kind of talk about that in detail later. I did play, not the whole demo, but I played the demo for a couple hours. Got to a point where I got stuck, and then shut it off, turned it back on, did some stat stuff, and then here we are today. So anywho's, with that being said, got back into Elden Ring. Now I finally found a build I was really happy with. I went and found this particular sword, etc., that I was really happy with, and things were looking really good. I was smoking dragons, going through dungeons, actually feeling, all right, I can do this stuff now without the struggle busing everything and failing at pretty much 70% of it. Then today, man, patch notes hit. Mm-hmm. And I was excited because it was like, oh, cool, we've added some new quest lines to some of the main brackets. We've added this, did that, fixed some bugs, Sure enough, the Sword of Night and Day, we nerfed it to the ground. That's the sword I farmed for, tried to get to, built an entire thing around, and now I can't say it's destroyed or isn't even usable anymore, but I've played a lot of live service games, and when they say they've nerfed it up, typically it means it's pretty much useless at this point, or just Barney Basic sucks like any other, crappy weapon you find. So that was sad. That was a sad day.
Well, see, I had a sad day today too, Eric, because
Oh no.
I've sort of been kind of following this build. Like, there's one ability that I've been trying to get since, I won't say day one, but since day two, when I was like, hey, if you're doing a confessor, you should probably go get this Ash of War and put it on your shield because it's really cool. It's called Barricade Shield, and check it out. And he showed it, and at the time that I watched it, he was like, this is really neat. I was like, okay, it looks like a shield. Like, it buffs his shield somehow, and the enemy attacks rebuff off it. That's cool enough on its own, because then you get a chance to do your guard counter and do the thing. I mean, that's cool. And I ran down to that Knight's Cavalry that has it, and he kicked my ass from launch day until the last time I played, like on Sunday, and I got it. And I went, cool, Barricade Shield. Let me see why it's so good. And I casted it, and enemy attacks did rebuff off of it. But what I know now is it also ups... what is it called? Your guard boost. So, boom, that jumps up. So now you're losing way less stamina each time you get hit. So I'm sitting there with this thing up, and I'm like, man, all those crazy combos that like Godric does, I will lose none of my giant stamina bar because my stamina bar is getting long. Instead of going down all the way, it'll go down like half. This is the greatest thing. Let me check out those patch notes, because surely nothing will affect me. Oh, Barricade Shield now costs twice as much FP, which, to be fair, it costed almost nothing anyway, so that's fine. Oh, it lasts half as long. Oh, so now in the middle of that combo, I have to put it up again, which is fine, because putting it up acts as you guarding anyway, so it's not too bad, but I have to reapply, and then my mana bar is going to go chunk, 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 dun, 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 dun. So even I, who's not following builds, who's not farming for things yet, who's still... not struggle bussing, but explore bussing. Like, I'm all over the place doing stuff. And I find a dungeon, I go, oh, too hard. Can't do that. Run and get the runes and get out. Even me. They hit me. Thanks, guys.
Yeah. It was really sad. And I don't want to be too down about it yet, because I haven't got to play with the nerf. But I just feel it in my bones. I feel it in my bones that when I get on and I cast the two unique spells that are, part of that sword's whole shtick, that it's going to be, pretty much 20% of what it did before, which is probably going to be less damage or the same damage as me just casting my pebble. And therefore, why would I even bother with the sword anymore if I can just cast a pebble and it's going to do the same damage? So therefore, the sword and getting it and then getting all that faith and everything to make it work was completely for nothing. So I can just basically go back to my meteorite staff as my primary and just keep going, I guess.
Well, two things. One, you can't just respec out of that. Once you find where you do that, who cares? You can just reset. But two, this is why I'm kind of glad. Like, the patch notes hit right now before I had an entire day to go barricade shielding and to go fight Godric again with it on and go, wow, this is so much better. So I got it and I went, this is cool. And then they went, snap, it's changed. I went, okay, but I haven't really...
I didn't get to feel it.
It's not part of my rotation, just I'm noticing that it's not silver anymore. It went back to gold or brass. Whoom, do. So
yeah, I felt one full day, Matt. One full day Monday of just, oh, God, I can actually go do tougher stuff now. I can do things instead of just scrubble around here in the beginner world and never move forward because I get raffle stomped. And now maybe that's gone. I don't know. We'll find out when I play next.
Oh, but I'm feeling that feel anyway because I'm baby stepping out and I'm fighting safe things. I'm not doing anything ridiculous, but I'm feeling that way anyway. Like, I'm in the academy now. I thought, I won't be able to go through there. Jump. I got to be careful when I do it, but I'm doing it. I'm making it. I'm going. I'm making a go of it, Eric. It's good.
If it works, I think it's just a dual-edged sword, because they were like, oh, go astrologer. You'll have an easier time. Yeah, the damage is there with that pebble and you stay far away, but I can take no hits of anything. And there's no gear to change any of that. It's just you take no hits.
Eric, all you got to do is shoot that death beam out. We've seen it. It's literally the video evidence. All you got to do is
I have
go
no
do the
choice
thing.
now. I have to go get the death beam because they took away what I was trying to build now. So, Yeah, you're right. I mean, I have no choice. But that death beam's very difficult to get. Like, the video makes it seem like, hey, an hour and a half, you'll have it.
Seems pretty easy. I saw it right there with my own eyes. I think the video was 10 minutes. Snap, and you're done.
Well,
you're killing everything.
Guess what? I watched a video today, Matt, of this, one of the best mage armors in the game. And it was like, hey, watch this, dude. And it was like a 3-minute video. Jumping up to the will something or rather tower up where the dragons are, Jump up to this tower. Jump down here. Jump around. Go up in here. Run down here. Kill these 3 baddies. Bam, bam, bam. Farm this mage right here. And he drops this super cool mage armor. Ba-da-ding. It was like 3 minutes and 46 seconds long. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I tried it for about 2.5 hours. Couldn't get even into the fucking building. So I went, no, this is not as easy as video. No. Because there's constantly, on the tower here on the outside, baddies that spring out everywhere, jacking you off the damn side of the thing, doing spear thrusts, and all sorts of goober gabber. And I love those videos, man. I love the videos. They're like, look how easy this is. Look at this. We won. We got the best armor in the game. Look at that. Liars.
Hey, getting barricade shield was the first thing that guy did. And the game's been out for, 2-3 weeks? Mm-hmm. I just got it. So I feel you, but I'm just saying. I literally saw him kill every boss.
I did literally see him kill every boss in 5 seconds. So I need to get on board with that train because God bless. Whew. Unless, of course, I'm wrong and everything's not as bad and gloomy as I think. But that's why I'm looking forward to playing, but unfortunately it won't be till tomorrow night. Lastly, I'll say on this was I was sad because I told you guys, oh man, I'm feeling good. I feel powerful now. I'm feeling spiked up, ready to go. I can't wait. Friday night, I'm gonna show you guys what this is all about. Hey, we nerfed that thing all to the ground. All right, guys, you ready to see what it's about?
Looks like the same old stuff we've been doing.
Looks like the same old stuff you've been doing, dude. It's just decent, but
I don't even see you swinging a sword, dude.
I don't swing it.
I'm out of MP. I got no pots left.
Yeah, I've got nothing. Yeah, I only had 2, and now I'm out. I'm just dodging and rolling like the rest of you fools. Mm-hmm. So that was my week. Playing a little Lost Ark, playing some Stranger, going out to Korean barbecue. And I hope to see Jujutsu Kaisen up in the Celebration Cinema this coming weekend, but I'll talk about that next week, Matt. What about you?
It was a good week because just 2 days ago, as we're recording this, I went and saw Drum Tao at the Wharton Center, which is the taiko drummers, and they do like flutes and shamisen and all kinds of other instruments too.
Oh, that would have been cool.
It was a ton of fun. And, I've seen them like years upon years ago. I mean, it has to have been like 5 years ago by now. The show was different because I remember at that point, there were like set piece drum things. Obviously there are. But then in between, they had like the 2 comedy guys doing a lot of comedy back at that point. Whereas here it was more like a well put together like performance. Like they did, some martial arts stuff in between. They had like costume changes and all kinds of movement and stuff. It wasn't just the drums because the drums are cool enough. And the stuff they did was awesome. But then there was like a big performance aspect to it too. And I was watching them like, God damn, this is just awesome. Just wow. So if Drum Tao's coming to your town, you should go because it's an experience like nothing else. I mean, you get the Japanese taiko drums and flutes and all kinds of great music and then just physical performances of them, doing all that awesome stuff. Woo! On the video game front, playing Elden Ring, just like you, not quite as much because there's stuff going on like every day. We got to do Shift or Monthly Topic, which we did. Got to go see Drum Tao, which was awesome. But I don't get to play Elden Ring. Hey, it's Wednesday. That's Dynamite Day. Also, I stream Final Fantasy II Pixel Remaster, which is such a 50-50 game. It's so much fun because it's just, like Final Fantasy 1 was fun. You're going through old school Final Fantasy. You're fighting monsters. You're running into new monsters, looking at the cool pixel art, listening to the amazing remix soundtrack. Some of those songs are still just, wow. Just you pop in an area and it's just, I don't want to even move because I don't want to interrupt this music with a battle because it's so good. Clearing dungeons, as much as it is annoying for random battles all the time, because I feel like they're all the time in this game, it just feels good to go through a dungeon and get all the chests and find the enemy at the end and explore and do all the things and go up this ladder and down that ladder and do the thing because I love doing that in RPGs. But you get to that leveling system, you get to that stat system, and I will never forgive it. I got tilted the last stream I did, which I think was like on Friday. So I haven't even talked about it here. And now I've done another one. I got tilted twice at this game. I got salty, I got mad because of the ANNO system. ANNO, spell you and I have cast it 1,000,000 times. It cures every status ailment. Just, you cast it, you set it and forget it. You cast it and there's no problems.
Mm-hmm.
Not in this fucking game, Eric, because that stat levels up just like all your other stats. So level 1 ANNO, it doesn't even cure poison. You get poisoned and you're still poisoned after the battle. That's fine. I got an ANNO tome and I put it on Maria. Maria, cure my poison. What do you mean? Okay. There's weird flavor text at the bottom. Cures conditions that remain after a battle while in battle. Okay. Maybe I need to cast ANNO in battle. Maybe that's the thing. I can't cast it outside of battle. I don't know. Go into battle. Cast ANNO. Miss. Oh. Okay. There's another spell in this game called Basuna, which cures temporary status effects in battle when used in battle. All right, let me put Basuna on. Maybe Basuna cures poison. Maybe I have to cast it in battle. Basuna, miss. Okay. Level up to level 2. Now it works on poison. But it doesn't work if you cast it on the whole party. Yeah, it only works on one person. That was the stream before. I walked all the way across the goddamn world to try and figure out what works. And I've got ANNO for everybody. Now everybody's at level 2. I went, okay, fine. Got somebody up to level 3. Now you can cure the whole party of poison with level 3. Sweet. Awesome. Last stream, Wednesday, I go to some area. Enemy casts stone on me. That's fine. I got level 3 ANNO. After the battle, I'm going to cure Furion of his stone. Okay. Okay. Then later, in the desert, this was either before or later, that same stream, I find these 6 enemies called Landrays. Every time they hit you, your character gets paralyzed. I have 4 party members. Guess what happened in turn 1? Everyone was paralyzed. Guess what happened in turn 900? Because nobody got out of their paralysis ever. I died. Game over. That happened twice. This game is ridiculous. I love it because it's a new game I haven't played. It's new experiences. It's great music. It's awesome pixel art. I love it so much. But then I hate playing it. It's so weird and bad and strange. Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. I had to look it up. You can't cure stone until you get ANNO level 5. So I have to go into battles and cast ANNO on nothing just to level it up. Yeah. All the time. Mm-hmm. On everybody. Because what if she's turned to stone? Then I gotta get somebody else to do it.
That's right.
Blah, blah. So it's a 50-50 game. I love it and I hate it. When stream time comes around, I'm like, oh, I'm excited. And I hear that prelude music and I load up my game and then I have a bad time later. Oh, it's great. Another game that's great and I did have a slight bad time with Jeanne d'Arc. Playing that on my Vita at lunch. And I keep saying, it does a thing I hate. Enemy reinforcements. The next week, it does another thing I hate, which was something else I totally forget. It did a third thing I hate this week. Go to the stage. Oh, Jeanne is stuck in a room with the boss. Everyone else has to fight all the way around to get to her. Fine. My characters are tough. She's surviving. I'm making my way through it. There's a turn limit in this one of only 20 turns. Also, the boss has a massive health bar, and he regenerates some health after every turn. So if I had 21 turns, he would have been instantly dead. But I had 20 turns. The boss has 4 HP. Game over. You didn't do it. But I did do it. Mm-hmm. A child could have come and thrown a rock at him, and he would have been dead. So, frustration at every turn for me.
Oh, man. You hate to see it.
I do hate to see it because it happens to me and I hate it.
They're just opposing you this week. They're just against you. They don't want you to be happy. They're just like, no, I got your number, Matt. You thought you was going to have fun? I see that grin on your face. A stab. Oh, God.
And even the Stranger of Paradise demo started out that way. It went, you're not going to have fun. Kick. And I went, But then later, I had more fun, so let's talk about it. We both played the demo. I didn't beat the demo. I went I made the bridge and went across to the new town, and then it opened up and went, here's all the other side missions and stuff. And I went back into the main mission, and I did stuff, which we'll talk about in a minute. Impressions. What do you like? What do you don't like?
Okay. So first off, you're way ahead of me. I'm still in the freaking Chaos Labyrinth.
Whoa!
All right? I'm still stuck in that. Okay? Because the first time I played it, I got to the room where there's a bunch of fire across the ground. And it says, use a mage spell.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have a mage. I don't have no mage. I have no points to give to anybody for a mage. And so I'm like, well, what water spell am I supposed to use? Because I don't have it. I've allocated all my points to warrior.
Mm-hmm.
And I have nothing for the 2 goons. They got nothing.
I wondered the same thing because I had warrior and the rogue class, whatever it is.
Pugilist,
yeah.
Pugilist or whatever.
And I went, well, I don't have any mage gear. And then I went to my thing and it went, hey, you could be a mage too, dude. And I went, oh. So maybe, did you go into like the class change thing? Because it's in there.
No, I didn't change the class. I tried to just give the mage a point, you know what I mean, in its job.
Mm-hmm.
And to be like, hey, here. And of course, there's nothing there to do it with. So I'm like, what the hell?
That's the thing. And see, we've got to the heart of my main issue with the start of this demo. The tutorials suck. It doesn't tell you
They're terrible.
anything. Like, I was reading some reviews and they went, oh yeah, when you pick up all this equipment, which we'll get to all the loot and stuff later, oh, you can just go to your optimized gear button. Where was that? I went through 900 pieces of gear looking at the stats on every single one. I don't know where that was. I didn't know that I had the mage class unlocked to switch to because it didn't tell me how to switch classes. They told me like nothing. I got to the same spot and I went, well, I went to the other room, the little outside balcony area where the cactuar is. And I went, that's cool. But there's fire here. What? And I was just going through the menu, pushing every button. And then I got up to the top there where you can change your 2 classes that you have, or your 2 jobs that you have available.
Mm-hmm.
And it went, oh, look, there's mage and another thing. Not pugilist, but something else was there too.
Yeah.
And I went, oh, what? It never told me how to do this.
No.
And I had to like go up and just mess with everything to do it. It was weird.
Well, apparently I missed that. So that time, that's where I quit. I didn't want to quit that night.
Yeah.
I was having fun because I was enjoying the game. I mean, I still am to an extent. But at that moment, I was in it, and I was like, all right, the graphics, they're not that great. They're not very hot. They're a little mad, but they're not bad. So
I think
was
they're
like,
pretty
whatever.
good. Like if you're comparing it to the most beautiful thing, it's not, but
No.
But to just compare it to a Final Fantasy game, which I haven't played a new one since 13, looks good to me. Looks fine. I like it.
Well, for me, and maybe it's my screen, but I got to agree with everybody, what everybody's saying. It's like blurry. Like it's fuzzy, mildly fuzzy to me, but that's not deterring me from enjoying it or liking it. Like it still looks good. I agree with you. It's not like terrible or nothing, but I'm just like, why is it so, it's blurry. It's weird to me. It just feels, I feel like I wear glasses in case, some of you listening don't know. And when you take glasses off, obviously everything's fuzzy and you're starting to squint. And when I'm watching this, there's moments, and it's not always bad, but there's moments when it's really fuzzy. And I start to wonder if like my eyes are messed up. Because obviously, like I said, my eyes are broken. So I'm like, am I just not? And so I like wipe my glasses off and I kind of rub my eyes and I'm like, okay, no, it can't be my eyes. The game just, for whatever reason, this spot is just really weird, fuzzy looking, and I don't like it.
I guess I can see that because now that I'm thinking back, there are some kind of, I almost want to say like it feels like the anti-aliasing isn't on all the time because it looks kind of jaggy and fuzzy.
Jaggy or fuzzy, yeah.
But I didn't notice it as much my second time through, which we'll get to in a bit because it wasn't slow and methodical. Like I was feeling stuff out. I was just romping.
Yeah. And so with that being said, that first night I quit at that fire. I was like, I assumed I couldn't even go through it. Mm-hmm. I didn't even try. I went, okay, it wants me to figure out a mage spell. I'm at a point tonight where I'm not going to try to go all the way back and try to figure out how to become a mage and then farm mage points. Because I went to the mage skill tree and I'm like, there's no water spell until freaking third row or whatever. I'm like, I'd have to go farm this for a couple hours at least. I don't want to do this. And
again, that's the beauty of it because it doesn't explain what that thing is you're looking at even. Like those abilities, because that's an ability and not the spell, which I'm sure you know by now. But
yeah,
like when I saw those things come up, I'm like, what is this? And it randomly would happen. Like I got one from the warrior, and it would randomly happen. But if I did the same thing, what felt like the same thing, it wouldn't happen. It would do the spinny slash instead. But when I wanted the spinny slash, it would do the jump slash, the jump slam. And when I wanted the jump slam, it would do the spinny slash. It's something you got to like figure out as you go. At least in the demo. Maybe the full game has better tutorials or more.
Mm-hmm.
I texted you. I was like, these tutorials are horrible, but as I'm bumbling through it, I'm liking it a lot more because I'm figuring out just from me smashing it into my hands
how it's working.
Yeah.
And so, of course, I played it one more time, and then I went, okay, I don't care. I don't have this mage thing. I still couldn't figure that part out. I just ran through the fire. Took a couple hits, but I made it through.
Uh-huh.
And then I started progressing further through the chaos thing, and I was enjoying myself. There were some frustrating things here and there, but overall, enjoying it. I love the gear. The gear's just dropping like crazy. The downside, like you said, is I didn't know until you just said that about an optimization button.
Yeah.
I still don't know. I don't recall my brain that existing at all.
Yeah.
So I look forward to getting back on and checking that out because, like you said, gear's everywhere, and you gotta every time you get a piece like every 5 seconds. So you want to go through and see if it's better than the one you currently have. Well, guess what? There's like green, blues, purples, and legendary status ones. Then there's levels too. So you're like, okay, well, this is a level 4 blue, but is that better than a level 2 yellow? I don't know. Now you're looking. So you're looking constantly. Stats, checking.
And in the gear list, they're just in there in seemingly a random order. Like my level 4 blue will be below a 3, but on top of that will be a 5, and the stats are just all over the place.
Mm-hmm.
And then my yellow is up top, but then there's a yellow at the bottom because that's a level 1 yellow, and this is a level 5 yellow, but then sometimes a level 1 yellow is above a level 5. It's like not in any kind of order that I can figure out. It's just nuts.
Yeah, it is wild. So the gear is like on one end, I'm super happy.
Yeah.
You know me, I love getting gear. I love it. Like, oh man, more gear. Yes. Useful stuff. This is great.
And the fact that it shows up on your character.
Yes,
I love that because
it's fantastic.
He showed up in his stranger outfit that everyone has memed and said, "Oh, he just looks like a dude off the street." And I went, "Yeah, he kind of does." But then I got like a caster's cowl, and he looks like a Final Fantasy character again. And I got these cool pants and gloves and boots and all the stuff. I'm like, yeah, now I look right. This is good.
Mm-hmm. And I'm in the same boat. I started putting on the new gear, optimizing things, doing what I could based off what I know. He starts looking really sweet. I was starting to understand the switching between your two current job classes, and how that was working and how that would benefit you depending on who you're going up against. So I'm like, okay, I'm starting to understand how this works. I still didn't know how to change from pugilist and the greatsword or whatever, the warrior, whatever it is, into a mage, but whatever. I was enjoying those two, and I'm still lost as to what. I'm assuming it comes later. I can't do anything with my 2 sidekicks yet, and I'm like, well, I know you can change their jobs, you can change their gear, you can do all sorts of stuff. I can't do anything with them right now.
So that's another thing I had no idea about. I went through and I beat the Chaos Shrine, and I'm looking cool, and everyone else is in their tank tops and cargo
they're
pants.
just in their tank top.
And I went, this is so stupid. And then I went out to the world map and went to change my equipment. And randomly, I hit a shoulder button somehow, and it went over to Jed or Ash or the girl. And I went, well, wait a minute. They're actually wearing gear? It's not just them? Holy shit. And I went and outfitted them all up, and now they look like Final Fantasy characters too.
Yeah.
It's maddening, but it's so cool when you find it, because it feels good to do the stuff, but cheapers, creepers.
Yeah, and I'm not at that point, obviously. My dudes still look like doofuses, and I'm like, this ain't right. I know it ain't right. I've seen videos. I know they can wear gear, and I know they can be whatever jobs you make them. I've seen it already. So what the hell? Where's this tutorial at? How do you do this? Well, you'll figure it out or you won't.
Uh-huh.
Good luck. All right. I guess I'll figure it out, except for I'm supposed to be playing Elden Ring and Horizon Forbidden West and these other games. Mm-hmm. I really want to play you because this is pretty cool, but you're not helping me any right now.
Yeah.
And I don't like it. I'm not a tutorial guy.
Yeah.
I generally don't like tutorials, but I need to know how to play your game.
And especially when stuff is so weird and kind of obtuse and strange and hidden. Mm-hmm. I mean, I've said it before. I can't replay Final Fantasy VIII because there's too many tutorials in the beginning.
Too much.
But I needed that here. Stutter start that first dungeon. Like, hey, we're making it in. Ha, you're still wearing those shoes. What are those? Boom, tutorial about this. Do a cutscene or two. Hey, tutorial about this. Watch out, there's water over there. You should change to a mage class. Ring. Here's how you do it. Or an optional one at the bottom. Press start to view.
Or, start to view or select to skip or whatever. You know what I mean? That's all you gotta do. And that way I could go, change job titles. Okay, start. L2, R2, okay. Oh, yeah, I get the gist of it. I understand. Okay, click, 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 click. Boom, it's done. Moving on. That's all you need.
Yeah.
That's all you had to do. Instead, no, just hopefully you figured this out, guys and gals. Maybe you've played Neo, and since from what I hear, a lot of the systems are kind of the same, you'll understand. Well, I've never played Neo, so I don't know. I don't have a clue.
We were talking about the mage class. I love it so much because I've been playing as a mage. And the fact that specifically for that class, when you choose mage class, it says basic hits with this weapon restore MP, which is the thing that I didn't like the most being the warrior because I'd use my 2 abilities and you can't get any more unless you hit that finishing move, but you can only hit that if you guard break him essentially. But you can't guard break him all the time because you don't have your abilities all the time. With a mage, oh, there's no problem. You just whap, 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 whap. Oh, I have enough for a spell. And the spell system, I love it. Obviously, you haven't gotten to it yet, but...
I haven't got to it yet.
Essentially, you hold down a button to start casting a spell, and you can choose your element out of like a wheel. The more you hold it down, the stronger that element gets. The stronger the spell gets. You go regular, Fyra, Fyraga. And they each have different shots that happen. Like fire, it's a fireball and kind of goes boom. Water, it's a little wave, but that travels through the room you're in. When you pick air, it's a tornado that goes through the room you're in. So I never even need to fire it up to air raga or whatever, because I see bats and I just go air. One touch and it goes, and they go, and then they're staggered, so I run over, hit them 2 times, and then break them with the grab thing. Oh, it's so much fun. I love it. And I beat the dungeon, went back into it because I thought I was doing a side quest, but I was just doing the dungeon again. It felt so good to run through it. Never worried about anything at that point because like the skeletons killed me the first time through a bunch of times. Now that I'm slightly over-leveled or slightly over-geared and I know what I'm doing, you could just run through and do the coolest like Devil May Cry type stuff. Just running through hacking, slashing, ability, grab, psh. Oh, now I have MP for an ability. Hack, hack, psh. It felt so good. So I'm so excited for that aspect of it. Maybe over-leveling a little bit or, powering through and then going back and just romping and stomping through like a true action badass. There's so much good here. It feels like Final Fantasy II. Like, to get to there, you got to plow through it. But once you're there...
I think it's be better than FF2, though. Because FF2, that's going to follow you through the whole game.
Yes.
Every time, you're going to have to go grind the next thing to get up where you need it to be to get to the next spot. This, I feel, once you get past that beginning and understand the basics and the fundamentals of the game, it's nothing but going to be upsell.
I just mean, for now, it's been half and half.
Yes, for now, yeah.
Bump, 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 bump. I get it. Now the fun is here. So, yeah.
Here we go.
Yeah.
And the best part is it's multiplayer. So I can pop in, Shay can pop in, it's three maximum, and we can go through and just have fun in this game, going through the dungeons, doing side quests, handling business. Being whatever we want to be, because I want to be a dragoon with a side of mage. And you just do whatever you want. That sounds fantastic to me. And I'm like, as I texted you, I said, there's some possibilities to this game. I think this game has potential to be something we could actually play and have a great time with. And obviously, we've got Tiny Tina's Wonderlands coming up. We're playing Elden Ring together and stuff as well. But this one, and here's where I segue from the Elden Ring. Elden Ring's great, and I love it, and I can't wait to play some more on Friday. But Elden Ring's hard.
Yeah.
Okay, let's not beat around the bush. And you have a couple beers, it's just harder. Now, because now you're not focused 100%, and you'll get killed. And then, that game, what we knew was going to happen always happens. All right, a couple hours later, it's like, all right, well, that's a good run. We're going to call it there because, we can't play this and be just stupid. This game has more potential. I don't think it has the potential of Borderlands or anything else. Don't get me, no, not at all. But it is not as hard as Elden Ring. It is easier as long as you understand that system of how to fight and use your abilities. It's easier.
I'll grant you that, but you haven't made it to the boss yet, have you?
No. And from what I hear, the bosses are a different story. But remember, I've played Jedi Fallen Order, and I don't know yet because I haven't got to it. But from what I hear in the talk, I feel like it's kind of going to be like that. Like the game's not crazy. It's hard, but not hard. And the bosses they're only spots where we're going to have to go, crap. All right, do we want to call it a night or do we want to go farm for a while and then beat the boss fresh? Because the boss does require a lot of, specifics.
And I feel like, too, it's another one of those things where the tutorial wasn't enough. There's that weird like parry, like soul guard system or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But it didn't explain to me exactly how it works. I had to read about it in a review. They were like, hey, use a soul guard and then your stamina won't go down. Like if you just regular guard. But you do a soul guard and your stamina goes down. And I went, but it's not working. And I'd do a soul guard and my stamina would break and I'd fall down and get killed. But you can, it's like poison on the world map in a regular Final Fantasy. If you're at 1 HP, you can't go below that. So if you just keep soul guarding, you can't get broken if you time it right. So that's cool. But man, the first time I ran up to the boss, first 2 or 3 times, instant death. But the thing that is so weird about it too, though, is you can put your friends into like hyper mode, like make them go nuts.
I figured that out.
Yeah. So all I did when I came up to the boss is I went, hey, Ash and Jed, or whatever their names are, go into hyper mode. And then just sat in the back and I ran up for the QTE segment.
Of course, yeah.
And I was like, cool, I did it. So
hey, you did do it.
I mean, it's weird and serious business, but there are things, and obviously it'll be you and Shay the next time if we're 3-man co-op in it, of just running, I get the aggro off of them, which they do too. So there's potential there. It's weird and it can be super hard, but I feel like once we have systems down and jobs that we like, and the rotations,
I think that
and
one will
abilities,
be an easier game to play.
Yeah.
I think overall that one has more potential as a Friday night game than Elden Ring does, because Elden Ring's fantastic and fun, but every time we all feel that spot where you're like, all right, we should stop playing today. Cool beans. See you next time. Boop boop.
And since you haven't gotten out of the Chaos Shrine, I won't go into it heavy, but I got beef with the story as it's going right now, because the thing they're theorizing is not right, because I fought that guy and he kicked my butt. So he's not what they think that it is. That's all I'm going to say. That's it. That's all I got.
And all I'm going to say too is I was even more thrilled about this game. Okay. Because I was completely mistaken. I don't know what dinglehead said this on some place somewhere, but they were all talking like, this was like a Garland origin story. And so I was thinking this is pre Final Fantasy 1. This is how Garland came to be. And then, of course, Final Fantasy 1 would be where you're actually going to be the Warriors of Light and you're going to go take out Garland. No, it's just FF1, but just retold and liberties taken to do some stuff. And I'm like, oh, okay, these are the Warriors of Light. And Garland is his own character. Well,
but
so far as I know,
his name is literally Jack Garland. And
I know.
there is, having just done the original, there are differences already. It's weird. Yeah. It's kind of...
So maybe it is, but...
I mean, not a spoiler, but Final Fantasy 1 is all about a time loop.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe this is a loop in the loop.
This is
loop. One go around, and then, at the end, this, that, the other thing.
And ultimately what I'll say, too, is that, the beginning of the story, it's wild, it's crazy. Apparently the English, version is kind of wonky. But as it goes, it gets better and better and better. And it all pulls together to be fantastic from what I hear. So that got me excited. I was like, okay, I'm all about that. That feels right to me. So I'm feeling sold on this game. But I definitely want to finish that damn demo first before I make any judgment call on whether I'm going to commit to it or not,
Yeah, I want to play through some more, but I want to throw the Japanese dialogue on.
That's what I was thinking.
Just to see if his delivery feels more in line with because he and to a much lesser extent the other party members don't feel like they're part of the world, which I think is probably, I mean, it's obviously the point, but it feels so jarring. Just even the way the actor delivers the lines feels really strange. It feels like I guess it's the point. He feels like he's from a different game.
Yeah.
He feels like he's from Devil May Cry, and he's here in this.
He's completely out of place, yeah.
And just the way the ways the lines are read, it feels like it's from a PS2 game, because his delivery is so weird. I don't know. But
then he had an amnesia, Matt, and he's here, and he's just like, I gotta get chaos, the big joke everybody's talking about. But then the princess is like, oh, Jack, hey, boy, how's it going? Oh, fist bumps, me and you hanging out. And I'm like, but this dude's got amnesia. He don't know. I thought he didn't know what the hell's going on, except that he's got to get rid of chaos. Mm-hmm. But now you're making it sound like he's been here a while and he knows you and her are friends. I'm sure they'll explain it, but right now I'm like, I don't know. This doesn't make no sense because you just said this dude doesn't know how he got here, and he's just like, I gotta kill Chaos. That's all I remember. It's important.
I was going to say, and there's that like one line in one of the tutorial things. It's like, yeah, he knows Chaos brought him here, and that's how he gets back is by killing him.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm sure in the main game there's like a cutscene that actually shows it. But even in the review, they're like, yeah, after you fight Tiamat, which we do in the demo, you're just kind of thrust into the story. I'm like, but how does he know that he's got to kill Chaos? How does he know that this is a place he shouldn't be? How does it's just kind of like,
how does he have those memories?
And maybe
What's
that's the
going
point.
on?
Again, he feels like he's from another world, and you don't know what's going on because he doesn't know. Maybe it's part of the idea,
Part
but
of the whole thing.
I feel like there's a big cutscene that's missing.
I agree. Something seems off, but I will trust the folks saying that it keeps on going and going, and you start to understand more and more. And so I'll play the demo. And if I like what I see, I'm thinking I'm probably going to get this one. It's leaning towards the yes, whereas I had no interest before, to tell you the truth. So this is a case where the demo was definitely a good thing for me.
Yeah, I am in the same boat. I had no real interest in it, but I didn't watch enough of it. I was just like, it's a weird Final Fantasy game. But at this point, since I'm doing all the Final Fantasies at some point, I am going to play it. Maybe I'll grab it and play it sooner rather than later. Obviously, I still have another week till my news resolution is up and I can buy new stuff and add to my backlog. It
won't be next week anyway, so we're good. We're all right. Because I got too much. I got a couple games on my plate before I commit to that one, for sure. But yeah, we'll see. It was fun. It was great. It was a good time. And God bless, where do we go from here, Matt? I mean, do we do our video game releases? Do we cut to the snippets? I mean, we're talking 44 minutes already. Woo!
Well, I think everything's small. I'm going to start with my release because my release is small because...
Yeah, mine's small too.
Because it's a game that I'm interested in, so I can't watch too much of it. It's ANNO Mutationem. I'm assuming that's how it's pronounced because that's what all the reviews say. Mutationem. I don't know. But it's a game that's been on my radar. I think it's been on my Steam wish list, but it came out on the 16th, developed by Thinking Stars, published by Lightning Games. It's out for PC and PlayStation only. This is a 2D/3D cyberpunk adventure action game. You take control of a character. She's got a brother who's gone missing. She's trying to figure out what's happening. And she lives, as in most cyberpunk settings, in a big megalopolis, like a big megacity. She's a combat and security systems specialist. So as you're going through trying to find your brother, you meet other characters who have other issues. Maybe, you stumble across a crime scene, so you can do this side quest and solve this crime. You can go interact with these other characters at this bar. There's tons of mini games you can do on the side outside of the story mission. You can mix up drinks at your sister's bar. You can play old school arcade games. You can solve those side crimes, do other side stories, which I've heard there aren't a lot of them, but the ones that are there either really flesh out the world or are just really interesting in their own right. So definitely do all that side content. And then the main game, as you're going through, this game has such a cool graphical style. When you see her walking through the world, you'll either fall in love with it like I did, or I don't even know what, because I can't think of not loving the way this game looks. It's beautiful pixel art, and it's got that lighting. As you're going through like the 3D world, everyone is kind of 2D pixels, but there's just round enough pixel on them and enough light. So when you're in the world, 3D segments, looking beautiful. When you're going through stages and fighting, it's kind of 2D side-on Metroid style. You're running and jumping and slashing and hacking and shooting with your guns. The action is fast and flashy, but not so ridiculous like a Devil May Cry or something. And the platforming is pretty cool, but not so over the top. If you love cyberpunk stuff, if you love adventure games, if you love 2D action games, you should check this out. Regardless of anything else, go watch some trailers, watch a review, look at that visual style, listen to that auditory music, because that is also bumping and great synthwave, beautiful stuff, just like in every cyberpunk type of game. If you like cyberpunk anything, check this out. It's getting great scores. It looks great. I can't wait till the 25th when I can buy this because I'm excited for it. Wait, no, I don't even have to wait. Friday, tomorrow is the day I would have gotten back from my cruise. So tomorrow I can buy this and I'm going to buy it. It's going to be great. ANNO Mutationem. Yeah. It's an awesome looking game. Go watch it and play it and listen to it and love it.
Gosh bless. And of course, while you're doing that, you need to be checking out this other one, Persona 4 Arena Ultimax. And you're thinking, what? This came out a long time ago. It did. It did come out a long time ago, but it didn't come out to PC, to the Switch, to the PS4. It has done so as of now. It was developed by Arc Systems Works and P Studio, and of course, published by Atlas themselves. I don't like fighting games anymore. You know, I've told the story before. Soul Calibur destroyed my life. It burned me away. I can't do them. So this came about, and I went, man, that's pretty cool. I love all the Persona characters. It's got Persona 4 characters. It's got Persona 3 characters in it as well. There's a whole storyline here. Now, I thought it was going to be some mumbo-jumbo storyline. No, man. Apparently, this actually ties in right after Persona 4 Golden and tells a story right afterwards of why this all happens, what's going on. It apparently goes from just being in the TV world, which you understand, to the real world. Things are happening, all sorts of stuff going down with Persona 3 characters, with the Persona 4 characters. And this one, originally, back in the day, before the Ultimax edition, had like just some of the characters. And then the Ultimax edition tied it all together, brought everybody in on it, and then told this entire story about how this came to be, what was going on in a fighting game. So you could do the story mode of it and sit there with your favorite character, go through and figure out all the cool story moments and bits and chops, go through the different characters, get different tidbits and pieces, like you do with all your fighting games. Or obviously you can just have a hell of a good time with the beautifully drawn animated backgrounds, let alone the music. They've got all the tunes from Persona 3, Persona 4 in this thing, and the backdrops. And like I said, with the beautifully done backgrounds from different scenes and environments in Persona 3, Persona 4, with, of course, all the characters there with different costumes, this and that going on. I went, oh no. I don't want to I can't do this. I can't do it. I can't do this. I cannot. But I want it so bad. I want it so bad, but I'm not. I can't.
You can do it, Eric, because I want it too. And I really, really want it bad. But the other thing that's given me pause, though, is there's all the Persona 3 characters in there, too. So if I want to get the most out of this, I got to go through and play that, too. Dude, I'm already playing all the Final Fantasy games. I can't play all the Persona games, too. It's too much, Eric. But, I mean, even before this, I always knew that the story kind of picked up after Persona 4. Now that I've beaten and played that, and some of those characters are my favorite ever, I have to get and play this. Maybe this is one that I get and I put on the back burner for someday when it's time for more Persona before Persona 6 comes out, or, you know, wherever I have a dearth of really good story, and I pop this in because I'm just as hyped at the possibilities of this as you are, and just as distraught, but it sounds so good.
Oh, I know. I saw some cutscenes of Rise just dancing, doing her thing, and she was DJing and kind of commentating on the fights and doing weird stuff, and I'm like, man, that just really, really sounds right up my alley. And of course, I haven't beat Persona 3 yet, but I'm about 20 hours into that game. So whilst I need to finish it and want to finish it, I know them characters now. So I'm like, man, I'm familiar with these characters. I'm familiar with, of course, Persona 4's characters. All of this sound, and it's, of course, that old, cool, beautifully done 2D fighting, you know, the way it should be, the way all fighting games should be, in my opinion. That's what's done here. Great artwork. Everything looks beautiful and gorgeous. All the menu screens look great. It's just a wonderful looking game. And of course, I could get it for the Switch, but inevitably, since it's on PS4, I'd get it for PS4 so I could play on the PlayStation, because naturally, down here on the big screen, just playing, that's where I gotta have it. Just the way it has to be.
All right. Here's the question that will tell me if I'm buying it like immediately, because again, I've established tomorrow I could buy games again, immediately or not. Is Marie in this game? Have you seen her?
Yeah, she's in this game.
That's sold.
Oh, yeah.
Sold. That's my girlfriend. Sold. That's it. It's done. I gotta do more and find out more of what's going on with her.
Oh yeah.
There it is. We're making we've already established in Persona 4 Golden, we're gonna make memories together forever. Now I gotta make more memories together forever in Arena Ultimax. Damn it.
Yep. You'll be there. Look at that. I already sold one, so go check it out. It might be something you're interested in. I'm definitely interested in it. I don't know. It's just a sad day. Sad day. Too much to buy.
But speaking of things we're interested in that aren't sad, that we're going to get, I mean, it's already sold. It's bought and it's on the way. It's Tiny Tina's Wonderlands. And, you know, if you have a friend who only plays Xbox games, or you play PS5, or you play PC, or whatever, don't despair anymore. because Randy Pitchford tweeted out and said, it's going to be crossplay everywhere, across everything. All of you can play together. You're all going to love each other and have a great time. But also, please forgive us if in the first week there's some issues because we're learning this on the fly, pretty blind because nobody's helping us out with that. But that's awesome. And we love Gearbox. We love when they do cool stuff. This is the cool stuff that Gearbox do.
I agree with you wholeheartedly. Borderlands 3, of course, was crossplay, but not with PlayStation.
Mm-hmm.
So apparently, at the last second, the Hail Mary went through, and they went, yep, PlayStation's on board. We're crossplay across the whole thing. That was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so happy to hear that. We don't typically play with a lot of people ourselves, but I constantly heard that. Like, oh, if only I could have played with my Xbox friends, or if I could have played with, this and that. But PlayStation was totally excluded last time. And not only, of course, is it cross-play across everything, but they've got the same screen.
The split screen co-op, yeah.
Split screen co-op. Now, the only thing I hope about that is, and once again, I didn't play with anybody split screen, but I heard that there was tons of problems with that in Borderlands 3.
True.
Hopefully that's all worked out, and we're going to get nothing but awesomeness from Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, so we don't have to hear people have that kind of issue and be upset about it. Because, I would be too if I was hoping and praying I could play with somebody here split screen, and it was just a complete mess. But props to Gearbox, because, by gods, it's good to see this cross-play across everything just happening and being a thing. I hope that one day we don't got to ever even talk about it, because that's just the way the world works.
And one more bit on the crossplay thing. This is awesome. You and I play the same systems, play the same games on the same systems for the most part. But what this will be awesome for, I've done this with Borderlands 2, not so much 3, but you just want to go and play with somebody and have a good time. When you go to that multiplayer server, it's going to be full no matter what, because you're going to be able to get matched with Xbox players, with PC players where this stuff goes down all the time, with PlayStation players also, obviously, if you're on that too. But that's what is really cool about this, because, console love for certain games goes up and down. PC, can also go up and down. But if you're on PC and the PC community dies off, hey, console gamers still love it. Same thing, if it's not a big hit on Xbox, PlayStation people are going to love it. PC is going to love it. Now you can have more of a pool to play with for those days you just want to play with people, because grinding the same thing, you're not for it. Bam, there's people. There's 3 times the audience.
3 times the audience. And speaking of audience, Matt, man, the Wonder Blast party's coming up. What are you wearing? You going to be there? Down there in Texas, right? Yeah.
I thought about it.
All jazzed up?
I actually did think about it, because they started advertising it like 2 weeks out, and I went, well, I'm not going on my cruise, because that's where I would be right now.
Mm-hmm.
I could literally just drive down there. I could take Friday off and just drive my happy ass down there and be there. Of course, I'm not going to be, because I'm here. I'm at work. I'm doing things.
It's too late now. It's just.
It made me sad, because it was like, you literally can do this. But I didn't. And Jim Ferranda's going to be there. Our buddy Jim.
Yeah, I know. He pulled through, and now he's going to be there. And that would have been fantastic to see him, maybe Vernell, and a couple others we've talked to, Ash, etc. But Texas is very far away, and I don't think I would have been given permission to go there. But you're right. You had the chance, at least, because they said, hey, you want to come, apply to come. Let us know who you are and why you're coming, etc. And, we'll get you an invite. And I'm like, oh, that'd be cool.
You know what they always say, Eric? Better to ask for forgiveness than beg for permission. Although the verb is different. Beg for forgiveness than ask for permission. Mm-hmm. You just do it. You just wait. She just wakes up one day with the kids.
No.
Where's Eric? Where's the big truck? It's gone.
He's in Texas.
Ring, ring. You don't even pick up the phone. Hey, babe, I'm in Kentucky by now. I'm on my way down.
Work. I can tell you that's in a marriage. That's where the glass ceiling they talk about. Mm-hmm. You've shattered that. And you're flown.
Because you're rocket shipping to the moon. You're taking your family to the moon.
No, come on, the family's not with you, Matt. Remember, they're down here. You flew to the moon, and you left them in the dust. Doesn't work out well.
Sometimes you just got to do that, Sometimes you gotta test the limits. You gotta see if that
marriage advice from Matt. Test the limits.
There's an OC remix track from Final Fantasy IV. The title is called "The Sky Was Never a Limit." You got to you got to see if that's true. Eric.
You got to see if that's
the
true.
only way to know is to go to the moon.
It's to go to the moon and find out if it works out or not. God bless. I don't know about all that, but I am definitely jealous. I am definitely sad. It is something cool. It's just, not in the cards for me.
But don't be too jealous and sad, because they will be live streaming from the event. I don't have the details here in front of me, but I saw that. I'm like, hey, you can check us out on Twitch. Obviously, I'm sure they'll do like a stage show or something at the event, because that's what they did for Borderlands 3, right?
They did
that.
Yes, they did.
So there'll be something to watch, even for us scrubs who are not on the moon, who are just scrabbling in the dirt like the monkeys in 2001: A Space Odyssey, hitting stuff with bones. Even we can get a taste of the greatness from the moon.
God bless. And of course, man, going to the moon, that's like magic. And you know what else is like magic? Harry Potter, Matt. You didn't want to talk about it, so I won't talk about it, except to say I caught only the tail end of that state of play because my children were being naughty, so I had to handle business. Business had to be handled. So I didn't get to catch the whole thing, and I'm very sad by that, because now I got to go rewatch it tomorrow while I'm at work or lunch or whatever. But what I did catch, I'm excited, man. I know you don't care, and I know people out there maybe don't care, but gosh bless, I love some Harry Potter. I've read all the books. I love the stuff. We've got a whole room dedicated to it. And this game is shaping up so far to be what I've always dreamed a Harry Potter game was going to be.
Now, this will tell you what a good podcast co-host I am, because I put in the show notes, yes, I put it verbatim. I don't care about children or wizards, much less children wizards. But when I looked up and it said the state of play is at 5 o'clock today, and we're only showing this, I put it on my phone while I was making dinner, and I watched it.
Oh, good.
And if you are into Harry Potter, this looks awesome.
Crazy.
This looks incredible for a Harry Potter fan. I am not a Harry Potter fan. I've never read a book. I've only seen a bit of one movie at the movie night that you guys did, and it wasn't really for me. But if Harry Potter is for you, you should check out the state of play, because that game looks, it looks like visually looks phenomenal. And it's got all kinds of stuff that you're going to love.
All the different skill trees. You can make your wizard whatever you want your wizard to be. Different, practices, all this stuff. Oh my gosh, man. The environments were, just true to form what Hogwarts was. The mysteries that they're talking about, the open world areas where you can explore and find all sorts of really cool secrets. All that vibes completely with what Hogwarts Castle and the surrounding area was about. And then on top of it all, I was like, I was worried. I was like, okay, it's going to be kiddie, I'm going to go to class and you do that stuff. However, it's like, oh, but guess what? Some of these dark arts sorcerers are going to come in. You got to kill them. You got to straight up murder them. And I'm like, yeah, all right, cool. Here we go. Now I'm learning spells to actually zap these dudes with lightning and throw them into the river and stuff. I'm like, I'm about this.
But then you can go to class with your friend Drippy Nose Snot, the guy who has a runny nose all the time, and then he can join you on your crew. Go around with Drippy Nose Snot. There he goes. Wee-hee.
Yeah. So it's like just such a mix of that fun, silly, childish adventure of Harry Potter, but at the same time it goes, oh, but also, yeah, there's real wizards doing weird bad things, and you will have to handle that as well. And I'm like, sweet. And then they were like, oh, difficulty levels.
No, we're done. That's it. We're done talking about it. I was going to cut you off after the next sentence. All right, I said enough. If you like Harry Potter, it'll be cool. Go look at it. That's it. I'm not tolerating any more wizards.
All right. Well, that's it, everybody. Hey, have yourself a great one.
What about you out there in podcast listener land? Do you tolerate wizards? Are you excited for this thing? Do you read the books? Do you watch the movies?
I believe in flat earth, Matt, and I don't believe in wizards or sorcery. I believe in the flat earth.
If you believe in the flat earth, then, let us know that also via the email, thirdshiftme@gmail.com, on the Twitter machine @thirdshiftme. Find us on Facebook under Third Shift. Tell us what you thought of the state of play. If this is for you, let us know. Let me know why I'm so dumb. Let me know why I should get into this stuff. Let me know that. Do it via the stuff I just said. Go do it.
So regardless of if you're agreeing or disagreeing with the Harry Potter things, y'all need to get on there and tell Matt why he's dumb. I think 100% this is a great thing. I endorse this 100%. Go to Facebook, go to Twitter, because we are on Facebook. We're there. I'm still figuring out some messages. It's just a thing. Facebook's not great. But I'm over there. It's okay. We'll make it work. So check that out. Or go to Patreon. This is better. This is much better. Go over there, throw $1, $2, some bucks our way, and then with a note that says Matt is dumb and he needs to fix himself or whatever. I like it.
I was just going to say I should make the $1 tier like the Matt is dumb tier. If you think I'm dumb, donate $1.
Donate $1.
There we go. That's all that means.
And donate $2 for Eric is dumb. Because it's got to be fair. So therefore, go donate too. You might get.
I was going to say we'll get more money that way. Actually, donate $20 if you think Eric's real stupid. Yes.
Damn it. Whatever it takes, man. You know what? I will debase myself as far as I need to go. It's fine. I don't care. Go over to Patreon. It's like a tip jar. Anything helps us keep the lights on and having a good time here on this particular podcast. If you can't donate money, hey, you know what? We tell you the same crap all the time. Go give us the 5-star reviews on Spotify, on iTunes. Go over there. Mailbag questions. Tell us what you're talking about. You want a whole episode based on a topic you got? You can do that. If we think the topic's worth talking about, we'll talk about it all day long. So, something you can do. Think about it.
Another thing you can do and think about is listening to the very next episode, which will be dropping on the 24th of March on iTunes and Stitcher, on Podbean, on Spotify, and on YouTube. And as I always say, hey, if you like what we're doing, you'd like to help us out, please give us a like, a rating, review, a comment, a subscription, any kind of good thing on any one of those good services, because it does help us out, and we really do appreciate it.
Indeed we do. Give us them 5 stars. I'm telling you right now, Harry Potter, he would give us 5 stars. The wizards, they would give us 5 stars. So go be like them. Go be like a wizard and give us 5-star ratings. Okay? Just saying.
I was going to give you 3 more wizards. You said Harry Potter, wizard, and wizard. You're done, and then you ended. So I didn't even have to cut you off again. Right. So thank you, Eric, and thanks to all of you for listening, because at this point, if he says wizard again, there's definitely nothing else to say, but... Don't forget to say...
So wizardy.
You're done. Nope, you're cut. Cut. You don't even get to say, don't forget to say. It's done.
Shut up and sit down.
Nope, you're going to cut me out. Edited it out. I see. Damn. It's too bad. What a shame.